Hi, welcome back to Earth and Sky. We're doing it again, Japan, yay!
And it was quite an amazing trip.
It was a huge trip, and so, but I have to say, okay, we hit Kurama Mountain, Reiki, which is the Reiki mountain that Yusui went up and all of that, which was amazing, and we did a bit of that, and I'm assuming we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that? Okay. Then we did Fushimi Inari, which was amazing.
Forest bathing and all the torii gates.
And the torii gates. The torii gates were amazing.
Yes.
And I really liked that one actually. That was a good one. But we've done a lot. You did some meditation, but I think you did other stuff than just climb mountains the whole time.
I did, yes. Outside of just meditating and climbing mountains.
Mountains, meditate. Yes. Climb, sleep. Meditate. Climb. Just kidding. That's what I would have done. So you went and you took a class with a very special person.
Yeah, I studied with some incredible masters while I was in Japan. There were a few very inspiring Japanese masters that have contributed huge things to Reiki and some others that had gathered.
And now, side note, so Reiki started in Japan, but then it sort of fell off a little bit, right? So it's still gaining traction, getting going again.
It is.
Because it went underground and all that.
It did after World War II.
Yeah, okay. So you went back there because there's a lot of amazing things, but we actually have a pretty good foundation of Reiki here in the States.
Yes. Yes, because even as it went underground with the Gakkai after World War II in Japan, it began to really flourish throughout the Americas, starting in Hawaii and kind of moving forward with a Japanese American that had lived in Hawaii who had studied in Japan, and she brought it back out here to the West, and Takata Sensei.
Takata, okay, right.
And
I was thinking Yaka something, okay. Sorry.
Takata Sensei.
Horrible names.
And she had helped, thankfully, to bring it into the West. The movement, there was a whole story we may go into at another time about why it went underground in Japan and the Gakkai organization that surrounded that. And thankfully, the Gakkai still continued to practice in secret after World War II and continue the traditions that Usui had founded.
Now that's the thing that's special about them specifically, right? Is that they sort of branched. They took Reiki where it was at once Usui passed, and they tried to hold it.
Exactly as
right
it
where
was.
it was.
Exactly
right?
as it was.
Now they tried to make sure it doesn't evolve.
Change.
All those newbies that come in and they want to make everything different. They're like, no, we're going to keep it the same. And so that's so that it keeps the purity. There's a purity to it in that sense that it stayed exactly what it was the way he had evolved it to.
Exactly. Yes, and Reiki is so much older than Usui as well. I think sometimes people forget or they don't realize that. What we talk about really stems from Usui's version of Reiki because there was a lot that happened, and Usui was so freely willing to share the information and felt a strong mission in his life that he really wanted this to reach as many people as it possibly could. Yes. And because of that, he trained over 2,000 people in the 3 years that he was alive after receiving Reiki.
Oh, wow.
That's quite incredible. Lot. And he healed many more than that.
Oh, my gosh.
Thousands, many thousands.
Busy boy.
He knew the mission that he had. He had seen a vision of his death. He knew that his death would be coming. And he was... imminent? And and he was so spurred by this mission that he had to share it as far and as wide as he could. Oftentimes, especially in the culture in Japan, traditionally, if there was a great enlightenment or some great gift that was given, whether it was a gift of healing or prophecy or whatever it was, that a person would receive something big.
Right.
Traditionally in Japan, you would keep it for yourself and you would share it only with your family. And this would be your family's secret to being able to become wealthy and successful, and the information passed down would stay only within that family.
The goose that laid the golden egg, sort of an idea. You keep the goose.
And that's very much what the culture was like, and especially at the time that Usui was around.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So that idea, so the fact that he received this amazing thing and wanted to share it and get it out there
that was incredible.
Oh, so he totally broke the mold.
He did.
By just going, look, the world needs this, not for me.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
interesting.
It was quite incredible.
Interesting.
And there was another Reiki clinic in Japan, not too far from where Usui was, that was open in years before Usui received the gift of Reiki. Yeah. And there are other things that show that quite likely it's similar to what Jesus did, and there are a lot of things that...
The types of healings?
Yes, and the way he passed the ability on to his disciples is very similar to the way we pass Reiki on to our students as well. And he had studied in Asia for periods of time during the 30 years that we don't have much recorded history that's public.
Right,
And so there are many different things showing this Reiki energy, which is spiritually guided life force energy.
Right.
And how people had been able to harness it before and to utilize it to help to heal mind, body, spirit, all of these things.
So he gets it, he breaks the mold, says, I'm going to do this different. And now how does the Gakkai come in? Now, do they come in when he's still around? Do they form because he died? What happened?
So they were around with Usui. Many of them he had trained himself.
Oh, okay, great.
And they had decided that after he had died, they wanted to preserve it exactly the way he taught it, exactly the way he practiced it. And they felt a strong mission to uphold this light of Reiki in the way that Usui practiced it. Yet it was interesting to note, Usui Sensei said it can change and it can evolve, and he evolved and changed with it throughout his 3 years.
In that 3 years, he brought other people in and worked with them to evolve it.
Yes.
To the point that it was
like
when
Hayashi
he passed.
Sensei, yes.
Right.
Hayashi Sensei, he gave him a mission, and he asked him to please continue to further develop Reiki and work with it and see how it can evolve, because he heard from Reiki it has a strong power that can be more, that will evolve and change.
Well, and everybody who does Reiki knows that there's an ebb and flow of the more you use it, the more you connect with it, the more you get from it.
Yes.
And so, I mean, that all by itself means that the more people use it, the more it will evolve, of course.
And we've seen so much of that in recent decades, too.
And that's my point of view.
Even the way that Usui Sensei had passed on the ability to do Reiki over the time in his life, he had many different methods that he was evolving and working with.
And learning from. And
learning from Reiki. And so the Gakkai had formed around Usui and loved him so much they felt like he had figured out the supreme answer of how this works.
Nobody could do it better than he did. This was his gift, and we're going to make sure it stays as pure as he was, kind of a thing.
And Usui Sensei had spent many years studying and traveling and trying to find the answer to how to heal. He specifically wanted to know, how did Jesus heal? How did Buddha heal? And he was looking through the sutras, the Buddhist sutras, as well as scriptures to find the formula for this, and studied in various different types of religions in their temples or churches or different, places, trying to find this cure, basically.
Because most likely there's a little bit of information in all of those places.
Exactly.
And if you can pull them all together, you can figure it out, maybe.
We might have to talk more about that later. There's a lot of really fun things that I could get into here later.
Okay, all right. But so the Gakkai, they form around him. Usui passes, unfortunately. They go underground. And now,
after World War II.
After World War II. Now now that time has gone past, now they're starting to go, okay, wait a minute, we want to grow this again. We want to make sure that the world knows about this. while we have the chance to give that out, right?
Yes, and there was an American that traveled back to Japan and started to bring Reiki back into the culture,
Nice.
which was an interesting
That's-
way that kind of comes full circle.
Yeah, that it came here, from there, it goes underground, almost falls away, and then somebody from here goes back there to spread the word, kind of a thing.
Exactly.
So interesting.
And it was continuing to grow underground. William Rand was one of the people who had actually traveled back there as well. Not the original one I'm talking about,
Okay.
but he was one of them that had gone and really worked hard to try to figure out how he could forge a relationship
Nice.
and discover more of
Yeah.
the historical documents and these original teachings.
Nice.
And Hiroshi Doi Sensei is one of those people that he ended up connecting with. Doi Sensei is the master that had trained directly under Koyama Sensei. She was the 6th president of the Gakkai organization.
Sixth president, sorry, of the Gakkai. Awesome.
And Taketomi Sensei is the one that trained Koyama Sensei. He
Okay.
was the 3rd president of the Gakkai.
Nice.
And he was trained directly by Usui.
Oh, wow. So that's a pretty short lineage.
Pretty short
Down to-
lineage.
down to Doi Sensei,
Yes,
yeah.
Usui Sensei, Taketomi Sensei, Koyami Sensei, and Doi Sensei.
Wow. Okay. And Doi Sensei is still with us.
Yes, he will be 88 in November
Wow.
2023.
Wow. Okay.
And very well, very vivacious and active and healthy.
That's
And I
amazing.
was honored to be able to be in the very last class that he was teaching.
Nice.
That
Nice. That's
part of why I
amazing.
traveled to
that's,
Japan.
That's a big deal, man.
It was
That's
pretty
awesome.
incredible to be able to spend the time with him.
Now, I know a lot of teachers do have their own pattern that they do, and then like on like their last class they'll do different things. Did he do?
Yes, he opened up with more of his personal opinions about things than what he
interesting.
normally
Nice,
does. And
nice.
I had the feeling that was what was going on. I just had this strong sense in different things that he said, that thinking, I don't think he normally
He
shares
would-
this.
he
This
normally
is
wouldn't,
really
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
And
yeah.
It was fascinating. Right after I'd had that thought, the next break that I went on, I met somebody else and was chatting with them, and they said they'd studied with him a couple times before, and he was opening up so much more than what he normally would. So I did
They
have
were like,
confirmation.
this
of
is
that.
a whole new guy going on here.
It was amazing.
That's
And he took
awesome.
questions. He doesn't normally take questions. He
nice.
took
Okay.
questions from us, which was nice.
That's amazing.
But I was thinking we'd talk about maybe just one specific thing that
Okay.
he had brought up during
Yeah,
this
yeah,
class.
yeah,
There was
yeah,
so
yeah.
much. There's such a
I
wealth
have
of
no doubt.
information.
Yeah. We can.
We might go into
just
some
do
more
one.
about this
Yeah,
later,
just
yes.
one thing on just the amazing things that you learned in that class or we came across. But anyway, but yeah. So okay, so you're in the class with them, and
And it was one of the things that really impressed upon me when I reflect back on the class. The thing that stands out to me the most was when he talked about how we all have a mission in life. And certain things we do give us a mission in life. One of the things he was very adamant about was when we study Gendai Reiki-Ho, which Gendai Reiki-Ho is Doi Sensei's version of Reiki,
Okay.
which takes the traditional teachings of Usui and the lineage of the Gakkai, which focuses just on the mind and the spirituality aspects of Reiki.
Okay.
And then he brings in a Western component of focusing on the body as well, and the paths of healing being mind, body, and spirit,
Okay.
and the merging of all of those together.
Nice, nice.
So it deters a bit from what the Gakkai says, but it really brings in this harmonious
Okay,
balance of
okay.
both the Gakkai and the Western style of Reiki in a very thorough way. He kind of reminded me of myself. I think that might be why I enjoyed his
you really
teaching
enjoy
style.
his teaching, right?
He talks very quickly. He covers a lot of information. Doesn't want to give much breaks, which
Yeah,
I appreciate.
That's you all day.
And was very thorough. He's very detailed and very thorough and very precise with
Nice,
things.
nice.
He gives a lot of details, so I really appreciate that. And one of the things that that really impressed upon my mind was when he was talking about missions and how we all have these missions.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he said as we would graduate from the levels of Reiki, and as we teach our students, that we are giving them a mission with each level as well. And how when you take level 1, there's the mission to begin the healing process within yourself.
Okay, that makes sense.
And when you in level 2, you're deepening that healing process within yourself. It's a kind of awakening and being able to share that healing process with others that you encounter as well.
Right, okay.
And we may get more in the next talk about the 5 levels of Gendai Reiki.
Oh, okay.
So Goku Kaiden is the level that I took with him. That's the final level. I had that previously through the Pearsons. I traveled to Boston to study the Gendai Reiki Goku Kaiden.
Right. I remember that,
but taking it from him, there was a wealth of different information that I received, quite different from what I had in my original teachings. I was surprised at how much more I received in this class.
Now wait, so the Goku Kaiden, so you said there's 5 levels. Is the Goku Kaiden the 5th level?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Yes.
And with that I'm assuming is like the master level kind of a thing.
Yes, yeah. And he actually talked to you about why we use the term master, and maybe we should save that for the next talk as well.
Let's get back to the mission.
Yes. So, and I found it really interesting. So we'll definitely revisit that later.
Right.
Why it's called Reiki Master. It gave me a little bit more appreciation, where I would shy from that word more before. I still shy from it because of Western connotations. But he brought a lot of light to where that comes.
Well, and I have to say, and just the structure of a lot of how in today's society we throw that word around in a very simplified way.
Yes.
I think masters are people that spend a great amount of time to master something.
Yes, time, energy, effort, practice.
Quite a lot. Yes, exactly. Not someone who, well, no, I've reached that level. Well, did you? Though?
Are you?
Are you still working on it? Are you still trying to master it?
Yes.
Exactly. So anyway, so back to mission.
The mission. So it gave me a lot of thought as I started pondering this more, because it's not just about what is your Reiki mission or what is your, I think sometimes we talk, and that is an important one. And a lot of times we talk in life about what is your mission in life, and people want to know what is the meaning of life, or what is the meaning of my life, or why am I here, what am I supposed to do, and those can be some really big aspects of mission. And I think it's important to address that, but I think we should really also look at what our other missions are in life. What are some of the things that when we step into certain roles, when we take on certain responsibility, when we make certain choices, we are given a mission to execute that in a really good way and to be the best that we can be with that. For one example, if you become a parent.
I was just thinking parent.
When you become a parent, you now have a mission.
You've chosen that. You now have a child.
Whether it was an accidental pregnancy or a planned pregnancy. When that baby comes, you now have a mission. A role. It is your duty to raise this child, to show them love, to teach them, to help them open their eyes at how to see the world. It's a really big mission to be a parent. There's a lot that goes with that, and it doesn't just end when a child becomes an older teenager or wherever there's no direct cutoff. It is a lifetime mission.
Permanently.
Yes, and with that mission, some days are great and you have a wonderful time and your younger child just adores you. And some days are really hard. Your child might say, I hate you. Why are you doing this to me?
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't change what your mission is. Your mission is to help mold, awaken, show love, teach this little being how to be in this world.
So that's so parental, and then like if you choose to be like a fireman or something.
That's another big mission. If you're going to choose to be a fireman, you have taken on the responsibility of a mission that when you're called to go into a burning building, you're the one that you put your gear on and you do it, and you find anyone that is in there. You bring them out. You put out the fires. You maybe save cats from trees once in a while, and some of the other things.
And all the things that go with it. But
it's your mission. And a lot of times in some of these roles, the roles can be very clearly defined. Like for a fireman, there's training, there's a manual. They show you, this is how you do it, this is what keeps you safe, this is when we go out, here's a call, you're off.
This is what you do and why you do it.
And it makes it a little bit easier in a way when those roles are really predefined.
Of course,
because then
you know what's expected of you.
Yes, and you have somebody that's there saying, hey, you did a good job with this. You made it out alive.
Or you didn't do something. You need to do this next time. Yeah.
There's other things like being a parent that the lines blur. There's no real distinctive manual. There's a lot of books out there with a lot of opinions.
Absolutely. A lot.
And being a spouse is the same thing.
Okay.
When you decide to commit your life to somebody, whether you marry them or you just decide to live together or whatever it is, you're making a commitment to take on another mission in life. It is your mission not just to receive from this other person and be there for the good days. It's your mission to also give equally, to be that support for them, to recognize when you're having a really bad day and you just don't feel like dealing with anyone, you need to put that aside, calm it down, and find out how is your spouse doing. And be somebody that's pleasant to be in that relationship, even when you're going through hard times. That makes it where you can become an equal partner with each other and support each other instead of pushing each other away with a spiky attitude.
Nice. So now, did he give you a specific mission when you took the...
With the Goku Kaiden level, Goku Kaiden is about sharing Reiki all around as much as you can, as far and wide as you can.
That's the mission.
That's the mission.
Yes. Interesting.
Because that's what Asui wanted. And so when you reach that highest level of Reiki, the duty that you have is to share that. Now, not everyone may want to be a teacher.
No,
that doesn't mean you have to teach classes.
Right. You can share it so many ways.
Yes, and it doesn't even mean you have to do sessions. You don't have to have your own clinic.
Right.
But sharing Reiki comes in a lot of different forms. Just like there are many ways to be a parent, there are many ways to be a spouse, there are many ways to share Reiki. Whether it's walking through a grocery store, sharing Reiki just by having that positive energy that flows automatically off. Or if you're using Reiki and taking baskets of food to people that need food, or you're doing clothing drives or something like that to help people that are in need and infusing it with Reiki. Sharing love. Reiki is love. And sharing that love far and wide in the best way that you can, as often as you can, is the Goku Kaiden's mission.
So missions, that's amazing.
It's a good thing to think about. I think that one of the other, we think about doctors. Doctors take on the mission to heal. They take the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm. Teachers have a big mission in life, whether you're teaching the little ones or you're teaching college age or you're teaching other types of classes.
Teachers, I think teachers are some of the most important. I would say
they shape our minds.
I think they're a little more important than doctors. I mean, that's my opinion.
They're the ones that are raising and shaping the future. They teach the doctors. They get them to fall in love with medical science when they're little.
People like teachers, and I'm like, what? No, teachers, man.
They actually did a study recently. I don't remember where it was. I think it was California. And they found that for every $1 that they invested in after-school programs, it gave a $7 return on those kids with their future. And that was based on things involving healthcare, prison, college,
how their whole life evolved, the way their life develops after
they took that much
Yeah.
less from
Wow.
society and contributed that much
more.
more
Wow, that's
by
amazing.
having those programs. We need to have a lot more, I think, funding towards teachers of all kinds.
That's
But yes. So it's something I think people should really think about. What is your mission?
And I think when people embrace a mission, it changes your approach to it.
The way you look at it.
Yeah, you look at it like, wow, this is something that I not only should be doing, but I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it really helps make it something that is life fulfilling when it's a
Yes.
mission, I think.
Yes, exactly.
So-
It really brings it into not so much a have to or feeling like it's such a drag to do it, responsibility.
Yeah.
Instead, it's, this is important.
I can
this
do
is big.
Yeah,
I can do
I'm going to
this.
do this. I'm going to buckle down and get this done.
And to figure out what your mission in life is such an important thing.
It is.
And I think that can be a good first step on the road to figuring out what is your mission in life.
Yeah,
Why are you here? What
Yeah,
is your
yeah,
purpose?
absolutely.
So looking at what those roles are that you have, what things did you choose? We all create the lives that we have. We're all choosing
Yep.
constantly
Absolutely.
what our future will be by the choices that
Yep.
we make.
Yep.
And so looking at what things do you have? Are you a parent? Are you a spouse? Are you whatever your occupation is? Every
Yeah.
single occupation has
a mission.
missions with
Absolutely.
it. All of
Absolutely.
our relationships have certain missions with them.
Nice.
Being a good neighbor
Yeah.
has a mission.
Absolutely.
And I like the way you were discussing earlier. We were talking about this, and you talked about how we have different missions at different ages in our life as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like when you're, say, 10, your whole mission in life is to figure out how this bag of stuff works and how this whole weird thing that we're immersed in every day, how the relationships work and how heat works and how, balancing on a bicycle works and stuff. It's getting used to it. Is that your job? That's your mission.
Exactly.
Your mission is to figure it out.
Exactly.
And then eventually you become a teenager and you try to figure out how to get through life with your brain being rewired, and then mid-20s.
Yeah, and the teenage brain is really, there's so much that is going on as it is being structured
It's
and working.
Yeah.
And at that teenage age is where people are really trying to figure out, who am I? What am I about? What do I like? What things am I rebelling about because I want to figure things out on my own?
Yeah,
I think parentally, if you give them that creative expression a little bit, maybe in that time, to allow them to figure themselves out.
Yeah, a little more space.
And help them and maybe help guide them with it, in them figuring it out for themselves. And then they're going to go through that same phase again in the 20s.
Yeah. And then you start all over again, kind of, because their brain's been rewired, and they get to figure it all out again because it's all new. So,
exactly. Our
and
brains
then it
finish
grows.
rewiring at about 21 for girls and about 23 for boys.
Or
And
40 something.
and it really is a lot. And this is where a lot of times you'll see people like a college age kids that are figuring out like how they think the world would be better, figuring out these big problems. How do we solve these big problems? How do we care about each other more? Global and humanitarian things are often really big on the minds of people that are in that age range, partly because that is their mission at that point. Their mission is to think about the future that they're going into and what is the world going to look like for their generation as they're growing into the future.
Well, and they're still trying to understand the world, and that's what I mean. When you reach a point, you reach a certain point where you just kind of, you accept the world as it is, and I can just kind of get through day to day, and your world sort of shrinks in your point of view because that's really, you're used to that.
And that's a dangerous position.
It is, because you kind of get complacent.
And that's exactly where people forget what their mission is.
And then you forgot your mission.
And they just accept, well, this is my day, this is my relationship, this is my job, I'm not happy, but I'm not changing it. And they're so out of touch. So many people are so out of touch with what their mission is, what their purpose is, what their roles are outside of just the duties that they maybe have to fulfill.
The habits that they've made.
Right. But instead, look at the aspects in your life and look at, what is my mission? What am I here for in the roles that I see around me right now? And as you start to figure that out, as you start to find some purpose in that, some joy in that, then you can start to look deeper when you're ready at discovering your purpose in life. Your mission as a whole in life will come easier once you look at, what is my mission right now? What is my mission this year? And do it well. Do it to the best that you can.
Yeah.
That was another thing Joyce and Say emphasized a lot, is do it to the best.
That's nice. And you've known your mission since I met you, which was kind of an amazing thing, I have to say. And so I got on board. I'm like, I like your mission. I'll go too. But,
and it does make life happier, better, easier.
It does, and it's amazing how much more driven you are when you embrace your mission. So embrace your mission. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And
we look forward to seeing you next week.
And go to our website, earthandskycenter.com. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.